I'm James.
And I'm Emily.
We show you our actual weight loss journey with the keto lifestyle.
Make sure you hit the like and subscribe buttons, and don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Instagram. But most importantly, don't forget to get ready.
Set.
Keto.
All right, we are interviewing
Mr. Scott Odle Jr.
He also has a channel, a brand new YouTube channel. So after you watch this interview, go check him out at Platte River Keto.
Yes, he just started this channel about a week ago. I think 4 videos in now, and his story is so inspirational, motivational, and it's just so fun to watch his journey.
So here we go. We are with Scott Odle from Platte River Keto. It is his new YouTube channel.
Yes.
And Scott has a very good story that is still continuing.
Yes, very motivational, very inspirational, and we just want him to be able to share that with everyone.
All right, so Scott, you can introduce yourself.
Yeah, Scott Odle. I've been keto for just over a year, and like you guys said, I'm definitely in the middle of my journey. I've probably lost more weight than some people will ever lose, but I've got a ways to go yet. Yeah, excited to be with you. Just barely started my own channel literally a week ago, so I'm brand new to all of this. But yeah, excited to be with you guys tonight.
And congratulations on your new video too. Your new YouTube channel.
All right.
So my first question that I had for you was, what made you decide I want to do keto?
What made me decide I wanted to do keto? Well, I, like a lot of people that you probably hear, had tried just about anything you could think of to lose weight in my adult life, and had done nothing but gain weight. I started gaining weight when I was a teenager, and lost a little bit a couple of times, but just never had any success with anything. And I had really gotten desperate because I had gotten to the point where I could not walk around the block really without having to stop. I had a lot of back pain, and I had a vacation where my family and I went to Florida, and we had a nice beach house 2 blocks from the beach, and I could barely get from the beach house to the beach. And I couldn't sit down on the beach because if I did, I wasn't getting up again. So if I did go to the beach, I would go to the ocean, and when I was done with the ocean, I'd go back to the beach house because I literally could not stay on the beach. And that was the day where I was like, I've got to try something different. And a friend of mine had reached out to me months before and said, "Hey, you want to hear about what I do?" And I finally said, "You know what? It can't be any worse than anything else I've ever tried." And so he actually is carnivore and still is. And so that was actually, I went straight from the standard American diet to carnivore, and made my way over to keto. But yeah, so it's kind of crazy.
So you started with carnivore and then made your way over to keto. I hear a lot of people usually say they start keto and then make their way into carnivore.
When we do
I try to do it the hardest way possible.
When we do beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, we've done that for 2 months individual. When we go back to keto, we feel like we're cheating. Did you feel like you were cheating?
I really did, because it was literally, and he, the guy that I started with, is such a purist. I mean, he's one of those people that I think has inflammation issues with even just regular black pepper. And so he's like salt and beef, and that's it. And so that's kind of what I started on. And like you said, when I decided I wanted to go keto and, be able to have some leafy green vegetables to some degree, and, add a few things in here or there, and oh my goodness, I could have a keto treat maybe if I wanted to. It was like, yes, I'm totally cheating.
Yes.
And I was
that is exactly.
Yeah. It's I would think that would be a good way to start. Be really restrictive in the beginning and then relax a little bit. I mean, everyone's different, I've listened in your videos about how you're not good at like moderation. Like you can't have one cookie, you said.
Hmm. Yeah, no, that's true. And my wife, who started doing keto with me, she started a couple of months after I did. I started in July of 2021. She started in October, and she's what I call a moderator. Like she can have a cookie today
That's
and
me.
be right back on keto tomorrow. Now me, if I have a cookie, I want all the cookies. I might even run to the store and get more cookies. And
I'm
I
that
got to
way
stay
with.
away from it.
Right. He can't even buy the high-low keto chips very often because he can't just have one. So,
I can't just have one serving.
right.
It's the bag.
Well, I have that problem still with nuts.
Yeah,
I really like almonds or sunflower seeds or peanuts or whatever. Like, and there are definitely varying opinions on whether or not you should have those anyway. But like, theoretically, they're keto.
right.
But yeah, a serving of nuts for me is like a good start. you
Right.
know,
Yes.
so
Yes.
I kind of have to stay away from them.
Yeah.
So how much weight have you lost total as of this
I
week? Or
lost 146 pounds.
that is awesome.
Did you say 146?
146. Yep, I started at 475 and I am 329 and change right now. 329.8.
Do you have a goal weight in mind?
I would love to see a 1 in front of my weight. So
No
my goal
wonder.
is 199. I am not very tall. I think I mentioned that in my very first video. I am not quite 5'10". I'd love to say I'm 5'10", but I'm not. I'm 5'9.5". So 199 probably isn't what the establishment would call like ideal, but we'll get a 1 in front of my weight and we'll go from there.
Wonderland.
Yeah, I decided, our original goals were set to be under the obese. For me, it's 210. I need to be under 215 to not be obese. But, then it becomes, I'm just going to go where keto takes me. And that's
Right.
probably where you just never know where it's going to
Well,
take you. I mean, it could take you to
well,
180.
exactly, and I've heard you say this, and it's definitely true for me too. It could take me to 180, but the fact of the matter is, it's a lifestyle for me now.
Yeah.
I know. I was listening to you guys and your story when you started. That it started out as a diet,
Hmm.
and I think that's kind of true for everybody. And when I started out, I thought, I'm going to try this for a couple of weeks. It's going to work just as terribly as anything else I've ever tried,
Right.
and it's going to go away. But it didn't take very long for me to go, this is how I want to live. This is how I want to be. I'm not going to get to my 199 and then go back to what I used to do. Because what I used to do was I felt like crap all the time.
Yeah.
And so, yeah,
And now you know too much. Right.
now I know too much. Yes, yes, you say that too, which is very true. I know too much to go back to that.
Yes.
So just what is your keto? If someone says, what exactly are you doing? Other than just saying keto, like what is your keto?
Sure. It's pretty simple, to be honest. It's meat first, and I have a group of vegetables that I eat. The low carb vegetables, and that is mostly it. I would say that I haven't even really set it in stone, but I'll do some kind of a keto treat maybe once a week.
Right.
And that's usually actually a homemade kind of a treat. Like my wife and I will bake something or
Hmm.
make something. Um, but that's kind of it. It's really simple. It's not really easy, but it's really simple.
Yes.
I don't count anything really. I mean, if you had to ask me, I would say like a lot of people, 20 grams of carbs, I try to stay under, but with what I eat, I don't have to worry about that very much.
Right.
Um, just because I'm really probably on the ketovore side of keto. There are some times where I'm literally having, you know, beef and ground beef, and then uh, cheese, which I do. So I definitely do dairy. I know some people don't. I do full fat dairy. I do heavy cream and I do full fat cheese. But a lot of times it'll be mostly meat, and the vegetables are kind of like a garnish. I know Dr. Berry talks about like that, like vegetables being your garnish, and that's kind of how I think of them. I'm not having like a quarter of my plate filled with a salad or something. I'm having it just to give some variety to my meat.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So you wouldn't say that you really track, or do you do modified fasting or OMAD or anything like that?
I have done OMAD on occasion, and I've done some of the intermittent fasting, I guess is what they'd call it, but I
Yes.
almost unintentionally. And that's really because as I've become fat adapted and been on keto for a while, I'm not hungry in the morning. And
Right.
that's what works for me. So when I get up, I don't eat until my lunch hour, at work. I usually
Right.
eat at 12 or 12:30, and then I try to have dinner before 6. So I'm kind of like 18 hours fasting and 6 hours eating, but
Right.
it's not a hard fast rule for me. If I have to be hungry in the morning, I'll have breakfast that day. But
Mhm.
I'd say probably 90% of the time, I probably eat lunch and dinner and eat in about a 6 hour window.
Yes. That's yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we do as far as not intentional, like for him.
I have to intend I intentionally try to have an 8-hour window. Otherwise, it just, I just snack all day.
Hmm.
So, I try to eat later than 11 and earlier than, my last meal earlier than 7. And I gave up breakfast in the very beginning.
Mm.
That's
But
right. Yeah.
just out of curiosity, there's the BBB&E craze. Have you ever attempted that?
I haven't, not since I started. Like I told you guys, I was probably the most extreme as far as restricting myself when I very first started, just because the person that I started with.
Right.
I've heard, I know Two Crazy Ketos are doing that challenge in September.
Yes.
Um, I I'm not against it. I think it's great. I think it's a good idea. It's something that I almost want to keep in my back pocket if I kind of stall a little bit.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
I haven't I haven't really stalled since I started. The closest thing I've come is like 2 or 3 weeks in a row where my weight has stayed the same, or as I mentioned, I work as a tax accountant during tax season when I'm working 70 hours a week.
Yes.
Um, I didn't lose a whole lot of weight for those couple of months, but that had a lot more to do, I think, with stress than anything I was eating. So,
Right.
but I'd like to keep the beef, butter, bacon, and eggs kind of in my back pocket for the if I kind of go a month or a two where I'm not really seeing anything. I think it'd be a good kind of a reset, if that makes sense.
Good reset or a good tool to use.
Yeah, tool is probably a better way to say that. Absolutely.
Hmm.
All right. What is your go-to keto meal?
My go-to keto meal.
Like is there a certain meal that you find yourself eating every week?
Yeah, more often
You
than the other.
know, I know this sounds funny because it's such a simple thing and it's certainly not cheap, but I love ribeye steak.
Oh yeah.
And
Who doesn't?
living in Nebraska, I've got good access to beef. And
Hmm.
so just giving me a ribeye steak that I cook on my smoker. And I, if I'm really feeling like I want a whole meal, I'll get a thing of mushrooms and put some butter and salt and pepper and throw those over the top of my steak. And that's, if my wife's out of town, that's pretty much what I have.
Yeah,
Sounds wonderful.
we love ribeye. It's just, sometimes we're buying for 4 and we just don't get it very often.
Oh, for
But
sure. And like I said, I mean,
definitely.
like you can't have it all the time. Nobody can afford ribeye all the time. I'd say
Yeah.
my number two would probably literally just be like local. And again, it's nice to have access to the ranchers and that sort of thing. But I buy ground beef directly from somebody who's just had a cow butchered,
Mhm.
Right.
and just do like a pound of ground beef and kind of picking uh, whether it be taco kind of seasoning or like a burger seasoning or like a Philly cheesesteak kind of, that sort of thing. And literally just doing a pound of ground beef. And
Do you think you would ever get tired of beef?
no. and I will tell you that my wife, who ketos with me, is not that way.
No?
She's not, and she likes beef. Don't get me wrong, she likes beef. But like when we go out to eat, if we go to a steakhouse or whatever, she tends to try pretty much anything but the steak. Not that she doesn't like steak, but she's going to go get that chicken breast or she's going to get that salmon fillet, and I am steak every time. So
yeah. No. That one of my questions was going to be, because I wasn't 100% sure if your wife was doing keto with you. But one of my questions was going to be, obviously going through a journey like this is better with somebody, better together. Who would be your biggest supporter?
Definitely my wife. She's amazing, and I know that you may not have seen it because I actually shared it today. But my wife has lost about 30 pounds. She was probably in healthy range when she started, so it wasn't it wasn't that for her. But she, I think, started doing it more to support me than anything else. Started doing keto with me just to support me, but she stayed for the health benefits. She and she'll tell you that she started keto just because it was easier not to make two separate meals. And we still kind of do. We do a little bit. Our kids kind of do things that aren't keto. We buy buns for our kids or tortillas for our kids that kind of go along with the meals. But she started doing keto just to be supportive of me. And next thing you know, I mean, she'd lost some weight, and she kind of looked in the mirror one day and was like, "Wow, it's crazy." And we just took school photos. Our kids' first day of school, or my daughter's first day of school, I should say, was today. And we take pictures on the front porch, and you compare last year's picture with this year's picture, and it's amazing, like what the difference is for her. So that's pretty awesome. But she's definitely my biggest supporter for sure.
That's awesome.
Where are we at? Let's see here. Okay, I would like to know, what is the biggest mistake, and hopefully it was early on when you started keto, and I can tell you ours, and you've probably heard it. We treated ourselves every week that we lost weight in the beginning, which kind of,
setback.
Yes, it set us back. It made us go through the keto flu longer. It took longer to be fat adapted. I was just curious if you had any like big mistakes, like, oh, don't do that.
Gosh, let's see. By the way, I heard that you guys did that. I don't know how you did that every week. When you started, I mean, like that. It's cool that you were able to keep doing it, because I never would have been able to get away with that. I don't think having the cheat meal every week or whatever. But that's cool that you did it. I mean,
I think it was that we just felt so horrible afterwards that it was like, why are we doing this? And then we would do it again.
Sure.
When I finally agreed to do keto again, I felt so bad, and I felt like I was dying. Like, I was only 314 pounds, and I say only because you were 475. My knees hurt, everything hurt, and I couldn't imagine starting at the weight that you did because of how bad I hurt. I was 43 when I started, and I was just miserable. And I remember that aha moment just a month in on keto. I was walking down my hall at work, and I remember just smiling, like, my leg doesn't hurt anymore.
Yeah.
And
well, okay, so we've gotten aside here. So I will tell you the thing, because I finally thought of something that really was the thing that I shouldn't have done that I did. But I will tell you that one of the awesome things I think about keto is how quickly I felt better.
Yes.
Like you said, can you imagine being 475? Yeah, I couldn't hardly imagine it, and that was me. But it was amazing how within a couple of weeks of starting keto, I could walk better, and I could walk better and walk. I could walk around the block where I couldn't do that before because my back didn't hurt. And I always had attributed my back pain to my weight. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure it has something to do with my weight. Carrying like two people in front of you is not a good thing for your back. But it was crazy how fast my back pain was 90% gone. That was so quick. That was one of the things that really helped me when I first started. Even before the weight had started to melt off, was like, yeah, I want to do this because I don't feel like crap when I wake up every morning.
Right.
And so that was huge. Now, for the thing that I did, I started keto in July, like I said, and obviously a very busy, stressful time of the year for me is basically January to April 15th when taxes are due. And I kind of developed the habit of sugar-free soda, which was not something that I'd never have had soda on a regular basis. I hear people who like stop drinking soda and lose 30 pounds. And I always thought that would be cool. I wish that had been me, but I never drank soda. So like I started drinking soda part the way through my keto journey. I think I was kind of just dealing with stress and was stress eating, but that was the one thing. Don't pick up any bad habits you don't already have when you're on keto. That was what I picked up, a bad habit I didn't have, and I got rid of it. I think after a couple of months. Every once in a great while, I will treat myself to a sugar-free soda of some kind. But yeah, if you don't have a bad habit that you're hearing somebody else talk about in the keto community, don't pick it up.
Yes.
So I heard you say that there's times that you went off plan a few times. Was there immediate results as far as like the next day? Did you feel like as bad as we have when we went on vacation and went off plan in the past?
The biggest thing that I noticed was just kind of feeling fatigued more than anything, and feeling like I almost got so used to being hungry that when I went off plan those couple of times where it's, you kind of just, I don't know about you guys, but when I go off plan, it's like I graze, I kind of eat all day, and eating all the foods that you shouldn't eat. Like the one time I went off plan, I know I had like Chinese food and stuff like that, just terrible stuff for you. But I really just was like, gosh, I just feel blah, like for a couple of days afterwards, and I immediately said to myself, this is not worth it. It wasn't that good.
Yeah.
It's really not.
Before keto, I used to think that like Chinese with all the vegetables and all that,
chicken and vegetables.
It's like the rest of the world thinks that that's healthy.
Yeah, exactly. And how healthy the rice is.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing what you learn. And also, is it safe to assume that Dr. Berry was your biggest influence?
Yeah, for sure. And what's really funny is I love Dr. Berry, don't get me wrong, but I think that Dr. Berry, along with his wife, Nisha, like he's like half again better when she's with him, because she kind of keeps him in check a little bit. Like he'll kind of get off on a tangent, and she'll kind of remind him like, hey, like be nice to people sometimes too. So I would say she, almost as much as he, was probably my biggest influence when I started. But when I found Joe and Rachel, the two crazy ketos, I would say that more recently they've probably been my biggest influence, and their community too. That community on Facebook and everything.
Well, see, yeah, I heard you talking about them and Dr. Berry, and Dr. Berry did so much for me because he taught me why I felt so bad on keto is because I was trying to mix low fat with low carb at the same time. And if it wasn't for him in this community, I would have never made it this long, because I was just trying to mix diets, you know what I mean, and it wasn't working. So, yeah. But
yeah, I would say, one of the things that I really appreciate about Dr. Berry and the two crazy ketos, and you guys for that matter, I've probably watched, I don't know, 10 or 15 of your videos, and I would say the same thing. I appreciate the honesty, and like you're down to earth. You're people that I could go hang out with. I think so many times we see personalities, whether it be keto or anything else, and you're like, what are those people really like? And I had never gotten that sense from Dr. Barry. I've never gotten that sense from Joe and Rachel, and I certainly don't have that sense from you guys. I feel like if I met you tomorrow and we hung out, that it would be just like I'm talking to you right now. And that's what I really love about the keto community.
Yeah, me too.
All right. If
you.
someone comes up to you and they say, I see you've lost a lot of weight, this and that, how would you tell them to start the keto diet?
Because me and him have different views.
I am a rip the Band-Aid off guy, and she is an ease into it.
Yes.
Well, okay, here's the thing. I think you're both right. and what I mean by that is it really depends on the person. Now, I think the only way you're going to know that is try one of those two ways. And if you try the easing into it way and you find that like you're 2 or 3 months in and you haven't quite eased all the way in yet, then you probably should have done the Band-Aid method and ripped it off. Having said that, if you try the ripping the Band-Aid off method and you feel like you're pulling your hair out and so you just fall off the wagon after a week, then maybe easing it into it, is for you.
Right.
But what I would tell anybody who's starting is pretty much everybody on the planet who wants to eat healthy agrees that sugar is terrible and that nobody should be having sugar. So I would say if you're going to start, and if you do anything, quit the sugar first. And then how low can you get your carbs? Where are they at now? Are you doing 400 grams a day? Okay, do 200 grams for a week and see how that goes. But just like James, I'm like rip the Band-Aid off. I went straight from eating whole pizzas to just eating beef, and that was it. So.
Right.
She was the pizza person.
Yeah. Pizza and ice cream. That was me.
I was potato chips.
Yes, that's what you said. Yeah.
I gave the
image. A family size bag of potato chips all by myself. That was one serving for me.
I gave the image in public that I just eat a little bit, but really I only ate a little bit in meals because I just hammered a whole bag of chips. All right, let's talk about your YouTube channel.
Yes, you just recently started this channel, and
by recently, I have 4 videos. Yeah.
Yes, but it's still wonderful. I think it's so amazing. I'm sure you've seen that my brother Derek started this journey with us, and it's just so. What did Derek start?
459.
459, and he's 311 now. And he is a very, very, very quiet person. Not just on the camera, but at home too. He is just a very introverted, quiet person.
When Derek talks, everyone should listen because it's important.
Yes, but it's very, very seldom. So, and I know your starting weight and where you're at now and how you feel. I love that you share that. I love that you've shared it on the 2KK Facebook community. And that's why I was so excited for you to talk with us, because it's like pulling teeth trying to get Derek to talk about his feelings about it and basically get yes or no answers. And I know he feels better because I say, Derek, do you feel better? And he's like, yeah, but that's as far as it goes with him.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I kind of put it hand in hand, and if that makes sense.
I don't know where we just went.
You don't?
No, that's okay. No, but I get what you mean. Like, and as far as like, why did I start my channel? I think it was because I want everybody to see all of my journey, and that's kind of what I try to do when I post. When I posted my Facebook posts, and now that I'm sharing my videos, I want everybody to see my good days and my successes, of course. But like when I'm having a Monday, I want to post about it because I feel like that's real, and that's like that's what we sometimes don't see on social media, because on social media, people only see what you let them see. And I'm not saying that that's not true of me and not true of you probably too, but letting people know when you're having a bad day, when you've fallen off the wagon, when things aren't going exactly like you want them to, that to me is almost as inspiring as the 146 pounds that I've lost.
Yes.
because somebody else can relate to that, can relate to having had a bad, can relate to falling off the wagon. And
Mm-hmm.
hearing somebody who seems to be having success, having had that bad day, I think that helps. And that's a big part of why I started my channel.
Yeah, and there's people who, need to know that, hey, this guy started at 475, and if he can do it, I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
No matter
yeah.
where you're at.
I mean, there's, and that goes for anybody. I mean, if there's someone who's 600 pounds out there starting a keto and they want to start a channel, but think, oh, they can't do it or whatnot, there's someone, there's always someone in a worse shape that needs it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And I debated in my head, and I talked with my wife. I'm like, should I start this now? Because I'm not there yet. When I say I'm not there yet, I'm not down to my last 15 pounds I need to lose. I've got 130 pounds I still want to lose. And I'm like, should I be telling people about my success? Because I'm really only halfway through the journey, but I think I absolutely should, because there aren't enough people that look like me that are talking about it. And to tell you a little bit about my YouTube channel, really, it's going to be, we'll see what it kind of develops into, but at the very least, I want to kind of try to post once or twice a week, post videos, vlogs, sort of like I did with, for those of people that actually saw my Facebook posts, just kind of a weekly update, what's been going on in my life and something that I'm thinking about. That it's helpful for me from an accountability perspective, helping me to stay on plan. But then it's also helpful for me from a mental health perspective. I think that posting on Facebook has been hugely beneficial to me in keeping my mental health while I've been on this journey. And I think that being able to share through video the same types of things will be really helpful for me. If it's helpful to somebody else, I think that's awesome. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, we did it for accountability. It was,
totally understand.
That's why we started our weigh-in Saturday. It was just like, okay, I remember my family used to, when I was a kid, they would go to this place called the Diet Workshop, where they went on Saturday mornings and they weighed in front of a room full of people.
So
yeah,
totally understand that accountability factor into it. But I like how you just kind of explain, because it from my perspective, how from everything that you've shared on the community page for 2KK, that it sounds like it's become not just a way of eating lifestyle for you, but also just overall health and movement as well. And I like seeing those updates where you're sharing what you're doing.
Yeah, for sure. And to kind of talk a little bit about movement, I think that exercise is really important for your mental health, and obviously it's very helpful to strengthen your body, your muscles, your joints, improve your flexibility. Having said that, I don't think it's all that helpful for weight loss. I mean, like, it doesn't hurt, but 90% of our weight loss is what we put in our mouth. And a little tiny bit of the rest of it is what we do for exercise. I will tell you guys, I do yoga, but I do DDPY. That's my big exercise thing that I do. And I think I heard you were talking with why did I just forget his name?
Hungry Heat.
Your last interview.
Yeah.
Yes, that he likes DDPY. And it's really funny. I will tell you the story because I am not a big professional wrestling fan. I don't dislike it or anything, but like, I did not find Dallas Page because of wrestling. I'm a sucker for a good documentary. And watched The Resurrection of Jake the Snake Roberts. And that was about the time when I was trying to figure out what kind of a workout program I wanted to do. And I found where he started and where he ended up. And I'm like, well, it couldn't hurt to give that a try, and I've loved it. I've been doing that for let's see, I started in April.
That's awesome,
and I love it. So
it sounds like something we need to try. You're the second person.
Yeah, we're 2 for 2 on our first 2 interviews with DDPY.
Yeah, I had to ask him what it was.
Well, and that's the funny thing. Like, I say yoga, and people immediately think of like, this Zen person, like
Right.
just calm breathing and talking very quietly. And if you know anything about Diamond Dallas Page, he is not quiet at all. And not that there isn't breathing and all that kind of stuff as part of the yoga, but it's not that. But when I say DDPY, nobody knows what it is. So,
Right.
so when
Yeah.
I say yoga, people at least have some frame of reference for what I'm talking about.
Well, I myself also watched The Resurrection of Jake the Snake. So I knew what it was the first time I heard it.
Well, it's fantastic. And I would say, to anybody who's starting out on keto, I think I mentioned this in one of my videos, but like, don't overwhelm yourself by not only going from the standard American diet to the keto diet, and then put on top of that, your idea of exercise is going from the couch to the fridge and back, and like trying to like start some crazy workout program. I would say to give it some time. And I think that most people in the community would probably agree with me on that. I would hope so anyway, but it's important, I think, after a while, and I think you want to, because you feel better. I don't know about you guys, but like, after about 90 days, I wanted to work out because I was like, I feel like I can, where I didn't before.
Exactly.
She pushes me to work out all the time. She wants me to go on a walk.
I know. I've heard your videos about how much you love working out, James.
No, I just don't think I'm ever going to enjoy it unless I'm kind of a competitive person. So I am very interested in the sport called pickleball. Playing a sport is a different thing. I don't consider that working out at all.
Well,
that's what you want to do.
I was going to say, that's what you got to do then. Because like,
I know.
Working out should be fun. So play more pickleball.
Well, I need to start playing pickleball at all because I don't even know the rules yet, but
he wants to.
You know what? I guess if you consider, we did go one day and watch other people play pickleball.
If watching other people do sports counted as exercise, I would be amazing. But no, and that's one thing I was going to say. Like, as far as exercise goes, I think everybody can find something that they like that doesn't feel like exercise. Yeah. And if that for you is playing sports, then I say, man, go play sports. Forget walking on the treadmill or lifting weights. Go do something that seems like fun. And that's exercise, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think I could ever walk on a treadmill again. I just don't like it.
I don't like it.
I would much rather take a walk outside.
He says that.
Yes.
Yep, absolutely.
I do have a physical job, so I can at least be thankful for that.
Yeah, I sit at a computer all day, so I need the yoga workout.
Yeah,
I hear you.
So how everyone in the community seems to like little kitchen gadgets.
Yes.
Such as the Stuffler, the mini waffle makers, and things like that. What appliance do you think that you could not go without?
Wow. I'm kind of anti-kitchen gadgets, actually, which is funny because I love Rachel and Joe so much, and they love the Stuffler, and that's really cool. But I would say the thing I probably couldn't go without isn't in my kitchen. I bought a smoker a year ago. I bought a Pit Boss, like kind of the bigger sized smoker, and I used that thing probably at least 2 or 3 times a week. I figure pretty much everything I cook could be smoked. So it would have to be my smoker. It's not in my kitchen. It's in my backyard, but that would be it for sure.
Well, we don't have a smoker, but we do.
Not because of me.
We do have the 36-inch flat top grill, the griddle outside, the propane griddle. And that is really nice for meal prep because we can basically make a week's worth of food all on one, all at one time. So that's good. I'm going to have to get a smoker because she talks about this.
You need one, and I'm going to tell you, get the big one. Like the guy at the store talked me into the bigger one. I think it was an extra 50 or $60, but I'm like, he's like, get the big one because you're going to get the small one and you're going to like it. And you're going to wish that you had one that could do like, 2 or 3 racks of ribs instead of just one at a time. And he was right. But yes, I love my smoker so much.
Okay.
I love smoked meat, so I would imagine that would be my favorite if I had one.
and look, it's not cheap. It's an investment, but I will say,
That's why he needs to be on board with me.
I know, and I don't know about where you guys where you live in Ohio, but it's so blasted hot during the summer that you don't even want to turn your oven on, and that's where having like a smoker comes in handy because you just cook outside every day. And I mean, your flat top obviously the same thing.
Right.
But.
Now, do you smoke meat in the winter also?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah. Well, we'll go dust the snow off the smoker and get it going. You bet.
I'll say because I hate winter, but yeah, we live down by Cincinnati. We're in Southern Ohio.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still way too cold though. Because
do you want to live in Arizona someday? Is that what you're telling me?
Yes. Arizona on the beach.
There you go.
No. Being a computer person, are you into any kind of computer games?
I'm not. My kids sure are, but no. I never really. I played sports video games, and that was pretty much it. And I didn't even play Madden. I wasn't even that guy. I played college football because college football is what I love. So
that's about all you got in Nebraska.
That is all we got in Nebraska. We're not even any good at that anymore.
I know.
Hey, but I'm a fan, and hope springs eternal. This is our year, I hope.
They keep sending all of our football teams over to England and places like that, and I'm saying, why don't you send them to Nebraska or Iowa? They'll sell out a stadium to see a pro team.
Yeah,
exactly. Exactly.
So, all right, I guess that's about it, right?
I think so. These are all my questions.
You got anything else you'd like to add, Scott?
No, just thank you so much for the opportunity to get to know you a little better and to chat with you guys. You guys are awesome. I love your channel. Just keep calm and keto on. That's what I say.
Yeah. Thank you for agreeing to talk to us and taking time out of your day. We really, 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 really appreciate it. Yeah,
I after you were in the live stream and we got off and I found out who you were, I was like, we're asking him. That's the one. He's the one. Yes, he is our next interview because he is a success story and a channel creator all in one.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, glad I could help.
So if you guys watching this have not yet went to Platte River Keto and checked him out on YouTube, do that. This is your time. This is your time. He has an awesome story. Yes. And yeah, he won't disappoint you. All right. That was a wonderful video, and we thank you guys so much for watching, especially if you've watched it this far.
Yes. And Scott, thank you again for taking the time out of your day, your busy life, and speaking with us.
Well, that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Scott's channel.
Yes.
And if you haven't yet, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. And thank you very much for watching.